This
Can you
is why
tell I
I
just
go
got from
stream.
work? Got off from work?
This is why I pre-record and edit.
Okay, you won't have to add anything
Right.
outside of this. I just realized like I just started. Uh, I just started. I clocked out of work and I like when we started, right, I had my headphones on, so and it was dark, so I had to turn the lights
Right.
on. I had to like switch my mics just so I can get ready, and like I'm trying to see. That's why I'm drinking some. What is it? The bubbly. I'm drinking bubbly. This is
Ah, yeah.
non-sponsored. Mm.
Not a sponsor. I know. I try to get Diet Coke to sponsor me all the time, but
Okay. Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't do it.
Diet Coke. Okay.
That's all I drink, Diet Coke.
Okay. Anyway,
But
as you were saying.
oh, so do we need to start over so people can hear it? We only
Yeah,
really
you
got into your
just
name.
no,
That's fine.
that's fine.
Well, welcome to Talking Comics. We have Chase Pond with us, the creator of Miss McDonald. Before we go into your comic book, see, I'll do better this time. Take two, right? Before we go into your comic book, tell us about Chase. Who are you? What do you do? Tell us
So
all about yourself.
I'm just, I'm an everyday adult on the spectrum who's living by himself. I love video games. I love uh, telling stories. I love, creating stories, creating memories. So pretty much my everyday life is I'm sitting at home working. I have my day job that I clock in and clock out, and when I'm done with my day job, then I go straight into creating content, or I work out, and it's just like that's just kind of how it is every day. I don't go out and adventure, do a whole lot of things. I chill on my laptop and I make things.
Well, what other things do you make other than comics?
Videos. I live
Okay.
stream on Twitch pretty often, so either I'm playing video games, either with friends or by myself, or I'm interviewing people, telling their
Okay.
stories. So it's pretty much I just love capturing the memories of things that I enjoy, or sharing the stories of others.
I love that. That's a lot what we do, right? Like as interviewers or podcast people or content creators, I guess you could say. Still weird for me to say that even 2 years in,
No,
but
I get that.
we have a good time. I normally do this with my daughter. I don't know how much you know about the show, but my daughter and I do this together
Oh, that's awesome. I do
and
have a
do
niece and nephew. So
sweet.
yeah, I do like now and then I'll go out and I'll visit my sister, my family that's nearby. And we'll kind of hang out, go watch a movie, go out do things. I'll even play games with them, or
Sweet.
maybe I'll go out to different conventions in Texas. There's a bunch of comic, anime, and gaming conventions pretty much all around DFW.
For sure. I'm gotta I'm going to be out there one day. I have a brother that lives in Oklahoma City.
You should.
I go out there quite usually every other year. But I am looking for a convention to go to in that area, down between Dallas and Austin or Caldwell, somewhere out there. I'm going to go to a convention, and 'cause I got friends and family out there, so we're looking to make it happen. We've done all over the East Coast this year, so time to spread our wings to the Midwest.
As you should.
But yeah, my daughter and I do this. We do a weekly show together. We just finished recording a few minutes ago, and go over our weekly polls and just play fun games. And then I do these interviews. I do a couple of these, one or two a week, and release them the next week. And it's been a great time documenting the journey of a comic creator or documenting the journey of father daughter, bonding over comics. So it's been a
That's
lot of
awesome.
fun. Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
Um, I also wrote a comic book. I got
Really?
inspired by interviewing creators and wrote a comic book, hired an artist that I got to meet last week, and now I'm dabbling into drawing. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
So, what got you into writing comics?
Well, me being a storyteller of my own, I always had stories that I endure that I kind of write. I usually just like things that I write to myself, but what finally got me going, like, okay, I'm gonna just go forward making a comic, or even some people would call like an American-made manga, because there's, if you've seen Miss McDonald, there's a bit of like anime inspirations, a little bit. Um, and part of it is because Miss McDonald is rather a almost like a fiction inspired by reality. Because growing up, I went through so many things. I had a rough time, kind of growing up in the adulthood, with a family that just didn't always get along. And a lot of things that you see in Miss McDonald, they are fictionalized versions of stuff that I went through. Um, but for those who don't know, they're like, okay, I don't know what you went through. What the heck is Miss McDonald? I could just simply say it's like a modern telling of uh, Wizard of Oz. Um,
Okay.
but say like, where the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, she goes to this magical kingdom. It's filled with all these different creatures, and everything's made out of crystals and Emerald City. Um, Topaz City, where the protagonist Mariah ends up, is more like a almost like a New York-ish styled city built from stone and rock and all different type of minerals, but simulated to feel like a video game. So you could kind of say like The Wizard of Oz meets Ready Player One, a little bit. But there's a whole reason for it. There's a whole like narrative aspect to it, because the main character Mariah, she grew up with video games. She loved video games. That was something that kind of kept her going, day after day, while her parents were going through the worst divorce possible. And all she had her mom. She had her love for motorcycles, for video games, and just wanting to be a loving soul. And that's what type of protagonist I wanted to make. I wanted to make a story where the lead is autistic, but in a more empowering sense. And there's more to it. Like, she's not defined by her disability, but I bring up autism because I, as an autistic adult, grew up with stories where autism is stereotyped. Where when you think of a character with autism, they need help, they need guidance. They're always making weird noises. They're covering their ears with their hands. Some adults with autism, some kids with autism have that, but that's not everybody. Autism is a wide spectrum. And that's something that like I write home, even with the first volume that I have. But I kind of wanted to make like a very character focused, fun adventure with characters that you like, that you would laugh, that you would cry, you would feel emotional attachment to, while also getting this education about different things about what autism is, but also there's themes about having choice in life of like you're not a good or bad person, whether or not you want to indulge yourself into religion. Because that was another thing I had growing up was I was told that if I wasn't Christian, then I was going to hell. Um, and I wanted to take a neutral approach to that, as to kind of see both sides of it. That there are good and bad people, no matter what. Um, so there's just quick things about Miss McDonald. Just getting right into it.
Yeah, I love that. Where did you decide to start writing? Like, not writing the comic, but what got you into writing to begin with?
Um, well, I always loved telling stories. I had a creative mind, and
Okay.
okay, let me restart that. That doesn't
Sure.
make any sense. I've always had a creative mind where, like, I would always just think of, like, a very interesting story in my head. And I guess my issue was, like, I never translate from imagination to on paper until very recently, just because of the life that I was going through. Like, I was coping. I was coping with things that I enjoy. That like the more creative aspect of me, there was just so much more that I probably wish I would have brought out sooner rather than later. But it almost feels like maybe today is maybe now is the right time to do what I need to do.
I mean, there's never a wrong time to start being creative. So that's I'm 44 and I just picked up drawing last like 3 weeks ago. So
Right.
I haven't picked up a pencil since high school to draw anything. And then here I am, 26 years later drawing
Yeah. No,
and
I get that.
writing. I never liked to write either or read that much, but here I am reading and writing and drawing like crazy nowadays. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it happens for a reason, right?
No, it does.
It does. Awesome. So you had to go through the process because you're not the artist in this book, right? You had
I'm the
several
writer.
artists. You're just the writer.
Yeah.
So you had to go through the process of finding artists, hiring artists. What was that process like for you?
Um. Well, a friend of mine who also makes comics would tell me something, and went on the lines like, "Making comics would make you poor," and he can't. He does have a point. I will admit that Mr. McDonald Volume One, it wasn't cheap to make. Um, well, I'll say there were 5 chapters. Some of the chapters they were more expensive than others. I would say the most expensive chapters would be the first and last one. The ones in the middle, not as much, but it's it all is about. I think it all boils down to who you work with, what kind of how many pages, and like what kind of deals do you make. But I think sometimes there's something that you really love doing and you were really meant to do this. It's going to cost money, so you have to think to yourself, do you want this? And
100%.
I felt like it was important. It was needed, so I went for it.
Well, it's a story that needs to be out there, right? So, I mean, that's the same kind of journey that I went through. I was lucky and got a great artist, somebody that I had on the podcast, and did a whole anti-bully. My book's all about like anti-bullying and
Yeah.
uh, stuff that my kids have gone through. And yeah, there's stories that need to be told, but it ain't cheap. We tried, we got it as cheap as we could. We hired the artist, got the right printer. I have a friend that owns a print shop, so that helped.
Yeah.
We got to print the book ourselves. Do you have physical copies as well?
In the process of getting,
Okay.
because being new to the comic creator scene, like that was something I had to figure out. I was like, okay, so because it's right now it's only available digitally, but I did want physical copies of Miss McDonald, so I was thinking out like, okay, how do I go about this? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? There are websites where you can get your comics distributed. So I did go to a website, and I'm just right now I'm waiting on the first copy to be printed.
Okay.
So in due time, I will get some physical copies. It's just stuff that I'm taking it pretty much one step at a time with it.
When did you finish the book?
Um, so volume one was finished, um, I believe March of this year.
Okay.
So earlier this year, it was the pretty much all 5 chapters were fully drawn out. I wrote the script over a year ago, but the process of getting it drawn, it is time consuming, and I'm someone who's very patient, understanding, and like I'm very grateful to even have artists to work with. So like I'm not someone who will go to artists and go like, okay, I need this done next week. Like no, I get it. I get it. This takes time. So I just like, hey, if
100%.
there's anything you need from me, man, I got you. Um, but yes, it took relatively until March. This I'll tell you, I do have another comic being made too. So Mr. McDonald Volume One is what's available right now. I am getting currently I'm working on Mr. McDonald Hope and Despair. And that's basically 2 extra chapters, 2 extra stories that kind of bridge the gap between volume 1 and 2.
Okay.
The first part of it goes into the backstory of Moses McDonald, who you will see in volume 1, but this is kind of all about him. And then the second part of it kind of goes into two other characters in the story who are gonna be vital to the story going forward. Not too much I'm gonna say about that, at least as of right now. But it's probably gonna be done. I want to say later this year.
Okay. Good. Are you using any kind of crowdfunding or anything, or?
That is the plan after Hope and Despair is done. Is that
Okay.
for anything going forward, I will definitely turn to Kickstarter. I will definitely put a crowdfunding out there and kind of go one chapter at a time for volume 2. Because with volume 1, like I was working with 5 artists at once. So how I'm gonna work on it is just take it one piece at a time, and that's not only cost friendly, but it's also just to kind of pace myself with just one story at a time, and that's how I'm gonna go about it going forward.
What was the decision process behind doing the whole volume, 5 chapters at one time?
I was bold.
Oh, bold.
I
I
was
just
like,
did it.
I was like,
Shut
you
up.
know what, you know what? I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. But then after I'm like, yeah, I can pull back. So
Right.
that
Yeah, I
was
mean, I think it's really cool that I mean, it's like most people start with an issue, a chapter, right, like one issue at a time, and then do a trade, right? A combined volume like you did. Like I can't wait till I get a volume of, you know, I don't know if I'll get to a volume. I should because all mine are a series of one shots, so I don't, I don't know if I'll get to a volume. We'll see.
well. This question was also asked to me when I started working on Miss McDonald, because there was another comic creator who told me that he's had comic creators who they would have this very ambitious, huge story with like all these characters, all this lore, and then it would be done after a year. Like they wouldn't really go as far as they did with their idea.
Hmm.
I think part of that is motivation. I am very motivated and committed to Miss McDonald because it's the story that I've been wanting to tell for so long, and I am like nowhere near to feeling burnt out from it.
Well, that's
Um,
awesome.
Part of that is I'm someone who loves stories that are very character focused. Like lore to me. It can be interesting, but if your characters aren't interesting, then I don't even care about the lore. So like I want you to relate to the characters that you are reading about or interacting, and the lore will just kind of, progressively get dense as it goes. But I'm always a character study first, and I think that's part of it. But the other part is just like um, I have fun writing these stories. Like even if I was the only one to be reading these stories, um, I mean, yeah, it costs money, and that's something I can like, you know, uh, glance over. But if I'm not enjoying what I'm reading, then I'm just not even gonna go for it. So I think that's why I don't feel like I'm going to run the same thing that maybe some other comic creators have with making these big story-driven stories.
Yeah, where they make these 20 issue or 25 issue runs. Start with one and see where it goes. And, hey, you started with a trade, a volume, 5 chapters, which is awesome. And you got two more. And then how many more do you have planned after that?
Um, well, you said 20 to 25. I think well that's why I'm like pulling back and just doing one at a time is like I'm just gonna let each chapter breathe on its own and kind of have because I already have at least the storyline that I'm making. I know how it's gonna end. Like that was another thing is like some people will make these big expansive worlds, and then they don't know what the ending would be like. I know how this story, at least this current storyline that I am working on, I know how it's going to conclude. But I have so many ideas for these characters that I've made beyond that. Like this is something where I'm like, no, I'm committed to this. Like I'm not thinking about 10 other different franchises or stories. Like this is my baby, as they say.
Yeah, for sure. So no other well, not tie-ins, but no other stories out there. You're just sticking with
Not at
this
the moment.
McDonald.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm 31 years old, so who knows? Maybe 10 years later, I'd be like, I'm gonna make another, or maybe five. I don't want to speak too
You never
soon.
know.
I just started, so I think it's too soon to ask, like, okay, well, what other stories are we gonna make? I think down the line I might. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just, at least, I want to focus on one thing.
That makes sense. I'm focusing on the one cool thing, even though it's a one shot. The world is ever expansive because it's about a comic word balloon, right? That's our mascot for the podcast, who can come alive in any time frame, any timeline, any universe, any whatever. So like I've already written, you know, we have the one story standalone anti-bullying story, but I can make 100 more. I'm not limited to just
Yeah.
one thing. I can build the universe as it goes. My daughter writes little zines in the universe. The artist does it. It's so much fun. Put out
Well,
little short stories.
I even have another thing that gets me committed to doing more with Miss McDonald is like how many stories do you have where like you have an autistic lead, an autistic female lead who is not like dependent and being guided by a neurotypical adult, and like I can't think of any.
I mean, I have no idea.
I
I can't think of one off the top of my
I
head.
I, I think sometimes there are things that are just important to breed. Like you could say things like with uh, I mean different Marvel superheroes with different race and different um, you know genders, sexualities. It's like yeah, why not do more with that? Like there shouldn't just only be one thing.
Oh, of course. Of course. Got to have representation all over, right?
Yeah.
So, well, cool. What's the, have you thought about going to any kind of publishers or anything for it?
See, all I can say right now is I am currently talking to someone.
Oh, see, nobody ever wants to drop the big bombshells on my show.
As
That's
is
fine.
nothing is
Totally
confirmed right
okay.
now.
I get it. There's more coming. Just wait. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks. You know, I'll move on.
it's okay. It's okay.
No, it's fine. I'm just picking on it.
No,
I've
I get
asked
it.
like Stephanie Phillips, Stephanie Williams. They're like, "Yeah, there's something coming," and I'm like, "Well, now's the time." And they're like, "No." Like,
No, I can't because there's nothing's like
no, I
set in
get it.
stone right now.
You said in the email to me, or the form you filled out, you had a trailer you might have. Is that done?
Almost. So the two
Almost.
things
Okay.
that are being worked on right now is there is an animated trailer for Miss McDonald Volume One, and
Okay.
that's gonna be at least my way of like promoting the comic further for,
Yep.
and then of course uh, Hope and Despair. So both of those aren't done yet, but the way things are going, both of those could be out later this year.
Okay. Now, not much of time in this year left, so that's not too long to wait. I'm looking forward to the trailer. I want to see that. Um,
Oh
and
yeah, it's
the
very anime.
very anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, which is good, you know.
Yeah, that's totally cool. Anime is awesome. I have an anime type cover for my book, so
Yeah.
I did it up to doing 7 different covers. Are you going to do multiple covers when you go to print?
Um, maybe. Because as far as the covers go, there's this really amazing and talented Australian artist who does the covers for pretty much a lot of the stuff that I'm working on. So I might. I just I mean, again, one thing at a time. I still haven't gotten the physical copy yet. I want to see what the physical copy of Miss McDonald looks like. I think that's the thing that I'm like, my mind is on right now, and then the
Yeah.
alternative covers can come in later.
There is nothing better than that feeling. Like, and that was another reason I did a comic, was just to be able to, get that physical copy in my hand, and,
Yeah.
something that I created. It was so cool when and you can go into this too. I'd love to hear your take on, when I hired an artist, I wrote a script and I gave no real direction. I didn't give artist direction. I gave it to him, and it was up to his interpretation on how he wanted to draw it. And he'd send me a page, once a week or whatever, and they were just amazing. Every time I opened my, you know, message to to look at a page, it was just amazing. Did you do something similar? What was that feeling like for you?
No, actually, I gave them the scripts, and then I also provide references on what the
Okay.
places could look. Now, no, their interpretation still applies, but I did give references on like what the characters look like, what the environments could look like. I did kind of add those descriptions, like and just a hint at something with Miss McDonald. Uh, Hope and Despair. There's a character who she kind of lives sort of a rich life, and she's got this very like almost like Disney princess type of house. It's got like twin waterfalls flowing down uh, besides the entrance. And then when they go inside, like the ceiling, it lights up and changes depending on the time of the day. And that was like original stuff that I thought would be cool for this character. But to put that in description, like I use references on like what like realistic looking palaces or like fancy houses could look like, and then adding in the descriptive of how I want like the beginning of the interior of the house, and the way the artist drew it I thought was really cool.
Awesome. Now, did you get a page at a time, a chapter at a time? How often did you get pages back?
um that depends because what I find being new to this, like I that's probably something that I didn't know is like making the scripts. I wouldn't really know exactly how many pages are like does it translate into, because chapter one, what chapter one's script was only 8 pages long. The page count was 50 or close to 50. Chapter five was the longest and had the least amount of pages.
Wow.
Um, so it depends on how the artist translates the script that you give them.
Yeah. And how did you find your artists?
So there is a website or two where you can speak to artists online and work with them and do commissions or get commission or
Yeah.
make commission. The website that I turned to was called bgn.co.
Hmm.
And it's pretty much like a almost like a hiring site where you have all these different artists and animators, whether they make gifts for your chat or like emotes, or they can be comic creators. There's like comic artists that you can commission, or just regular artists, or even animators, or people who write music. Um,
Wow.
People who have different creative disciplines, you can just commission them. A lot of them are like anime inspired, but almost that kind of fits for what I was going for. So I pretty much turned to that site.
Very cool. And you said, yeah. Do you have any hidden Easter eggs in your book? Do you do any of that?
Um, well, I'll say for like volume one, um, there's a maybe a couple of references. I'll say like uh, one influence was like of Miss McDonald is Paddington. And there was a scene in Paddington 2 where they were on a runaway train, and like the villain was trying to go after Paddington, which that idea, I guess that came into my head when I was making the train scene in chapter one. Um, so there's things that were inspired by movies and video games that I like that I displayed in my own creative way. Um, I said that there's like a joke about a fictionalized cartoon character called Slapstick, and I that was me going like I wanted to like make up different things like different kids cartoons that like some kid characters you'll see they'll watch, and like I thought of like Ren and Stimpy. You know how they're like they're shows that are for kids, but they're very like almost acid trip and almost adult centered. But the characters look that I imagine, he kind of looks like one of those googly eyed characters from a Nintendo 64 game, which is a video game console I grew up with.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, at the recording of this interview, I just ordered the M64 that I want to do streams with.
Ooh, very cool.
Which they run old Nintendo 64 cartridges at a better frame rate.
That's cool.
Um,
So, do you what got you into comics originally?
I mean, I love Marvel. I like DC. I'll even go a little bit more obscure, and I read a lot of Lego comics because I grew up loving Legos. They had comics off of Bionicles. I don't know if anybody remembers the toy line,
Yeah.
but they even had their own type of Indiana Jones before they got the Indiana Jones license. They called it like Thunder John or Johnny Thunder, and it was just like
Okay.
a Indiana Jones knockoff, and he had his own comics. So read a bunch of those, and then I would even read comics based off of different games that I like. So it's just more of my interests, but I enjoy storytelling. However, whether it be a book, whether it be a comic, whether it be a movie or a game,
Yeah.
animation is probably my number one to go for. If I had the budget or money, I'd probably try to make Miss McDonald more animated. That's where the idea of having an animated trailer came from. Um,
Okay.
but I know
Who is
animation
your?
is more expensive than comics.
I could imagine. I did like 2 semesters of animation in college, and yeah, I can imagine how expensive that would be. Especially, no. Who was your favorite, comic character or superhero growing up?
Spider Man.
Spider Man? Heck
Yeah.
yeah. I love Spider Man. Do you remember the first comic you ever read?
I barely remember it, but I remember the different iterations of Spider Man. I remember um, the Spider Man, well, the Spider Man that the 90s cartoon would be inspired from, or the 80s cartoon. Um, I remember the original Green Goblin look,
Oh,
long
yeah.
before the Sam Raimi version and the different versions they've had later.
It is
Um,
interesting. I read a lot of Thor comics and seeing the variations of Loki, how he used to look versus now, is really crazy.
and Captain America and
Yeah.
Iron Man. I remember
Oh,
obscure
yeah.
villains like Backlash, and I remember like how silly Iron Man was before they rebooted him
Right?
to who he is now. Um,
Yeah, his suit was crazy
yeah.
in the beginning. All right, this is a fun question. Uh, it's a three-part question.
Okay.
If you could live in a comic book universe and have any superpower and have any character be your sidekick, what would that be? So, which comic universe would you
Honestly,
live in?
I know I'm maybe tooting my own horn, but I would be in Topaz City and Miss McDonald.
Heck yeah,
'Cause-
finally. Somebody picked their own. About time. Most people write like they'll do horror comics or something like that. Like I live in my own universe, you know.
No, but just stuff that I have ideas for like the next volume that go more into Topaz City. Like Topaz City is such a like enchanting like um well I'm not gonna say too much, but just like
Yeah,
the
no,
stuff
yeah.
the stuff that I have to further describe Topaz City, it would be something where you'd be like, oh yeah, I would like to check it out.
Are there any superpowers in your universe?
There are some supernatural or fantasy elements in Mr. McDonald, but not necessarily like people with superpowers. Because I feel like there are so many comics, even independent comics about superheroes. I want to try to avoid kind of the straightforward superhero or supervillain, but there are some fantasy elements that will come into play.
Okay. And if you got a sidekick, who would you choose? One of your own characters? Miss McDonald?
I wouldn't mind. Well, I think probably. You know what? There is another character that will be in Hope and Despair. Um,
Okay.
uh, Her name is Haley Rose, and she's a flower girl. She's just very sweet and innocent. She doesn't fight. She doesn't try to want to handle her issue. Which that's another distinct thing about Miss McDonald is she's not a character who tries to solve her problems with violence. And I was inspired by things like Paddington or even like Undertale, like the different stories about where the main character is trying their best to solve things without trying to harm or kill anyone. And I think doing things like that is very inspiring because there are so many heroes that just simply they kill the villains or they kill bad guys and don't really care.
Gotcha. Do you read any current series?
I haven't. I think most recently I've just been reading more independent. I would
Okay.
be curious to see the current Spider-Man comics, though. Speaking of which,
Yeah. I picked up a few of them last year, maybe earlier this year when they restarted the Amazing Spider-Man started one again, number one again. Got like the first 10, 15 of them. They were good. I had to scale back because I got laid off from my day job, so
mm,
I had to scale way back on my ones I bought. You wouldn't tell with the ones we showed off today, but I did scale way back. I still buy the current Thor. My daughter buys the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy and Supergirl. She's more of a DC fan. I'm more of a Marvel fan. But I buy Batman, so of course I
yeah,
read Absolute Batman. It's amazing. Um,
yeah, I heard about that.
it's so good. What indies? Anything that I would know?
Probably not. There are independent comic creators that I know of. Like, actually, before I even released Volume One, I made just like a little test thing, like a what if. My friend David Dubb, he's the creator of like Dusk, which is like this vampire killer. This girl who hunts vampires and does it for just a. It's kind of like I guess I wouldn't say like Buffy the Vampire, but maybe like a vampire spin on like Xena the Warrior Princess.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It's got almost like a very similar tone. So I just did like a short comic of like what if Miss McDonald and the main character of Dusk named Eve they were to meet each other. So it was like a what if non canon story.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, actually, you know what? I did go to DreamCon and I was reading comics
Oh.
from black comic artists. So I do a lot of
Yeah.
support for black creators. And that's
So
where a
do you
lot.
know Lauren?
I may not know Lauren, but there was.
Lauren Hazel? She's a Knights of G, like on all the Instagram and TikTok stuff. She
I
was at DreamCon. And I've had her on the show. She's a big comic marketer,
You
so
know
that's why I was
what? I
wondering.
may or may not have met Lauren. I met a bunch of comic creators though, and they made.
Okay.
I was reading New Game Plus, which is
Okay.
another like video game inspired manga, that was made by black artists and black writers. Um,
Awesome.
I should I think I met Laura. I had to think because that would
That's fun.
I would. I'm all about showing support for black creators. So a lot of my interviews are black creators, whether they be gamers or they be filmmakers or they be cosplayers or whatever. Um, but yeah, I've been reading a lot of comics from black creators too. Um,
Cool.
from that came from DreamCon.
Yep. I did
Um,
not. I would like to go. Like I said, I will make it out there one of these days
yeah.
for some conventions. All right, this is my favorite question to ask. If your life were a comic book, what would the title be? Is
It
it
would be
Miss
Miss
McDaniel?
McDonald.
I knew it. I knew it.
I'm like, I didn't.
I like that.
That comic was inspired by my life, so
Yeah,
that would
exactly. So why change it, right? I love that. Like, you wrote it, you created it, live it. Like, lean into that. That's amazing. Um, well, tell people where can we get the book now?
I mean, right now it's available on all like comic sites like Webtoons,
Okay.
Taposphere, Global Comics. There's also this indie comic database. It's on there as well. It's on the Twitter X page, Miss McDonald 101. Also on Facebook, Miss McDonald. Again, I'm gonna continue looking for online distributions.
Yeah.
It's available digitally for free.
Okay.
And then Miss McDonald, Hope and Despair will be available digitally as well soon, and I am working on trying to get physical copies and such and such.
Awesome. Well, I always like to ask, is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to talk about that I didn't ask you or whatever? I don't want you to leave here and be like, "Oh man, I really wish we talked about this," whatever it may be. It's your time to shine.
No, it's just I'm someone who's just inspired to create, and I just want to keep creating. And
Love that.
that my mind is just gonna be jumbled with creative ideas. Right as we get off of this call, I'm gonna continue thinking about creative things in my mind.
Inspired to create.
I'm
That's gonna be
inspired
the
to
title
create.
of. That's gonna be the title of the episode. I have to remember that when I do the editing.
Well, yeah, because some people are like, man, I want to make a comic, I want to make a movie, or I want to do. Look, I made this comic. I don't have any experience in drawing.
Hmm.
I wrote a script. These were my ideas. Um, and I talked to some artists. And I made something happen. And I feel like you can too.
Everybody can. Inspired to create.
Inspired to
That's.
create.
I love that. That's. We just end now. That was all I needed. You could have just hopped on, said "inspired to create," and I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Shit, Chase Pond, ladies and gentlemen."
Yeah. No, I
Well,
appreciate
dude,
you.
that's awesome. All right, but we have to do one more thing because I'm an idiot.
You're not an
And
idiot.
your live people will love this. Whoever is watching. Uh, so I forgot to hit record until about 5 minutes in. So we have to redo the intro for the third time.
Well, I
And
actually
I'll.
have this this whole thing like live created right now, so I can even
Do
just
you
send
have it
you the file.
recorded?
Yeah, I have it recorded.
Can you send me like the first 10 minutes,
I can.
if you can? If you can, like, email me or Dropbox me or whatever. I don't do Dropbox. Whatever. Google link, whatever.
Yeah, I can do that.
If you try the first 10 minutes that I could upload, because yeah, that was. I asked you about about yourself, and you did, and I was like, all right, well, tell us about the comic, and I looked up, and I'm like, I didn't hit record, so I just kind of sneakily hit the record button. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you want to send it to me, that'd be great, and if not, I'll make something up and tell
yeah.
people I'm an idiot.
You're not an idiot. Okay, I got you.
I'm gonna stop the recording though because we have to wait probably 30 seconds for it to upload, and then we're good to go.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stop it on my end, And then yeah, we're both at 99. Yours is done. Mine is done. See, it was that quick.
I really
Um,
appreciate you, sir. I appreciate
yeah, I
you for the
appreciate you being
opportunity.
on and coming on and filling out. When you get the next one out, when you go to release it, let me know. We'll
Of
do a
course.
pop in. Um, some people that have been on the show before, I let come in with my daughter and I when we record and do like a quick 5-10 minute pop in,
I
just
would
to
love for
throw it
your
out.
daughter to even check out Miss McDonald because
Okay.
I also made that to be very female empowering. Um,
Okay. I
but
will. I have a 25-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old daughter, so
well, I don't know about the
we'll see.
11-year-old. There are
Yeah.
some top.
Yeah. She's a little. She reads Harley Quinn, so.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, it's up to you. I'm not the parent.
Right. She. I
Uh,
just. I just picked up Grimm. We'll see how that goes.
okay.
I don't think this.
Oh,
This
the
one's
chat
not
is
bad.
clapping for you.
Oh, thank you.
AJ from Talking Comics Podcast, everybody.
Why are they clapping? I don't know.
Because you're not an idiot.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, do I need to go stream on Twitch? Is this something I need to do? I don't know.
I'd look into it. I'd look into it and you decide for yourself, man.
I've thought about, doing some live stuff, but I don't know whether, like, what made you choose Twitch over YouTube or Facebook or any other live platform?
Um, well, YouTube does have more like guidelines than Twitch.
Hmm.
Like, um, I've heard some YouTubers have like their videos get demonetized a lot if there's like even just 3 seconds of potentially copyrighted music or
Right.
maybe a trailer for something played. Or I think YouTube
So
might be
dumb.
a little bit more of a hassle than Twitch in regards to things like that. But again, it's all about preference.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'll find your channel. Let's see.
Okay.
I don't even know if I have
Well,
it.
I will have to go because I am kind of transitioning from one thing to another. But I appreciate you so much,
Okay.
AJ, and I hope you
Yeah.
have a good rest of your night.
Awesome, man. Well, have a great night. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
All right. Bye bye.
All right, y'all. That was the interview. So thank you all so much for checking out the interview. I'm going to cut this part out so you can, watch the VOD. We are going to transition to GTRP. So give me 1 second and I'm going to switch gears. But again, thank you all so much, and I'm going to go ahead and VOD's going to be available almost immediately. But for those who want to stick around for GTRP, just bear with me for a second. Anyway.